Okay. That is weird. Okay, now let's try it. That should do it. Yep.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. So apparently there was some type of a software update through OBS, and it looks like it had muted our volume. That's the second time now that I've seen this issue happen in OBS where it's knocked out our audio selection. So I'm very curious what this means going forward, because the way I have everything set up for when we're streaming on the Monday and Wednesday shows and people can see me in the flesh, hopefully the audio is not out of sync with the video. Otherwise, that's going to be a tedious process and trying to figure out, what the fuck. So very weird there, what's going on. What's up, kind people? You're checking out an all-new Wrestling with the Topics for this week. I was getting ready to put a date out there. We don't need to be putting no dates out there. Lee Tammy Sanders here. Hope you guys have been very well. It sucks I had to figure all that out on my own, because it was like, because last time one of the listeners was like, "Hey Lee, if you're saying something, I can't hear anything, dog. If you're saying something, I don't know, I don't hear nothing. You mute or something." And that had helped me, reboot it and all that quick. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend. Hope the week's going off to a pretty good start for you all so far. And if not, we got Hump Day just around the corner. Living for the weekend, some of us are. That's literally, hey, it's Monday. It might be Monday, but I'm living for the weekend. I tell you what, right? It's like, what you just had, I want the next one, right? It's pretty much going down that way. So, yeah, nice fun show lined up for you guys for this week. I can't believe that the month of August is pretty much almost over and done with. Depending on how old you are or if you're a parent, as you know, we got a lot of kids going back to school. Definitely this week alone, but some kids have already in the United States gone back as far as early as 2 weeks ago, if even that. So, it's getting earlier and earlier for some.
Well, in our neck of the woods, it's not until next Monday.
No, this week. If you're talking about our respected neck of the woods, then yeah. But folks in Virginia kids have already gone back as of this week. I only know that because I had watched the news the other night. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I believe DC kids went back this week as well. Mm-hmm. I believe DC kids went back as well. So depending on where you're living, the mask mandate for those in school, a lot of restrictions have been lifted. And it's funny because I was talking to somebody earlier today, as a matter of fact, customer of mine. I usually see her and chat with her about twice a month. She's usually picking my brain as far as, so what do I think as far as how long until we're completely done with these masks altogether. And she's a much older lady, so she wants to make sure that for her husband, because her husband isn't well. Her husband is physically disabled, so he can't really. Now, he's not in a wheelchair or anything, but he physically, he just can't move around as good as she can. So she usually does all the shopping for the household, respectfully, and all that. And she says, so how long, Lee? How long you think we have until we can just be rid of these masks altogether? And I said to her, well, probably 3 years. 4's kind of pushing it, but maybe 3 years. And I see, for example, we got the FDA. They're now pretty much saying, hey, we don't really consider this to be a pandemic anymore. So any company that maybe want to begin charging prices for folks to get a COVID-19 vaccination, go ahead. You can go ahead and charge it, right? It's like, oh man, like really, that's what I was like, okay, but then again, we're getting back to normal. Chris Jericho is somebody I follow on social media, and usually from time to time, he'll respond to my stuff or interact with whatever I'm throwing his way. I saw he had announced that with his upcoming Jericho cruise going down this fall, that regardless of your vaccination status, as long as you show that you're negative, you're going to be good to go. Now, see, that's very different compared to the cruise that we went on last year, which was the triple whammy. This one that's coming up is the 4-leaf clover cruise. But when we were on the triple whammy cruise, we had to go through such a tedious process of showing our vaccination status that we were in the clear, but then we had to take tests right then and there on the spot, regardless of the fact that we had just
48 hours
exactly. And so the way that they're doing it now, hey, regardless of whether you got the vaccine or not, as long as you hit a negative, you're welcomed on the cruise. So it should mean a speedier check-in process, getting on the cruise, and setting sail a lot sooner rather than later, as some of you guys may recall from my Jericho cruise experience. And if you're a newer listener, fan, you definitely, all you gotta do is just go on the 41mania.com website and you can type in Jericho cruise and you'll see my review for it. It'll pop up rather quickly. That process from last year, the whole check-in process, two things that were a sore thumb, and I'm sure many would definitely agree that was on that cruise: understaffed.
Yes.
Believe it or not, understaffed.
They were understaffed.
Severely understaffed. And as far as the line of communication goes, as far as, okay, well, all right, well, we were told this online and we were told this from the rep on the phone, not matching up to what happens when you're in person. So you have a serious line of miscommunication,
Yes.
right? So you had all of that was going on. Add on top of that, poor ventilation, as you did not have banging AC. They did a piss poor job in making sure that everybody was okay, everybody was staying hydrated. It was just pretty much, there's a water machine around here somewhere if you can, and I just thought that was kind of crappy. I think it should have been a case where they should have had a free person going through the line. Water. Anybody need some ice cold water?
They
ice
can certainly
water?
do that for the booze.
I know, right? Shit. So I would imagine that this go around, the process is going to be much better. I'm knocking on wood. I'm hoping that it's going to be better for those that's going to be going on it and everything.
Yeah, I think they have a little bit of experience under their belt, and that should be smoother. Things are lifting, it's not lifted, but lifting.
Yeah.
And, I think it should be a smoother process. They went through it last year. All right, what do we learn? What can we do better?
Right.
Go
Right.
from there.
Let alone from the surveys that they gave out to everybody.
Yep.
That was hopefully those that I know I filled out mine. And I would imagine that most of you all that were on the last cruise had, filled it out as well and everything. But yeah, I definitely was like, yo, what the fuck? I let my voice be heard. I didn't throw them under the bus, but I definitely was pretty damn firm about it. That much for certain. So, we're just kind of bouncing all over the place. So, with me returning to classes, nice good bite-sized chunk of classes going down next week, it just kind of got me thinking about a couple of things, definitely as far as the shows go and everything. And I had ran this by Tams before we even decided to, should this be a topic, should we bring it up or not? And I got Tam's approval on this one. Right. There's just, normally I like to go into this show, kind of have an idea what we're going to talk about. But this one's been kind of on my brain a little bit off and on for the past couple of weeks. All right. So as some of you guys know, we have been graciously through our good friend, amigo, brother in arms, and Anthony Missionary Thomas of Wrestling Soup, welcomed us to stream the shows in the Discord server and all that. And it's been a nice experience. It's been nice doing the shows in the Discord, trying to tap into a newer fan base, get some new fans in and all of that. And I'm just kind of at a point right now where I just go, is it really worth continuing to do the shows in the Discord? And allow me to elaborate a little bit more. And, who knows? Maybe it could be a situation where for those that's going to end up hearing this on demand and or the downloads, they could provide whatever, feedback or whatever. So when we first started doing some of the shows, and as to date, what we've normally been doing is a Monday show, and then we've given you guys the Tuesday night. If you're around for the initial live airing of Wrestling with the Topics, right, it's free for everybody to listen to, right? So we normally just do Monday and Tuesdays. Wednesdays and pay-per-view, like I'm not even touching the Discord, right? Just strictly the Monday and the Tuesdays. And I think the curiosity for some folks was there. And so we had folks that were tuning in and, all that good stuff. And that's nice and dandy. But then I noticed, particularly when it comes to the Monday show, the past few weeks now, the numbers have dwindled. And I think if you were to ask me, well, why are the numbers kind of dwindling, Lee? What exactly is going down? Are you coming on at the usual time that you're supposed to come on? Yes. Are you blasting? Yes. Okay, you're doing, well, that's weird. What exactly is going on? And I hate to say this, I really do, because I'm not trying to make any enemies or nothing like that. But I think one of the problems that I've noticed is, when you're supposed to be on and do your thing, you're supposed to be able to tap into, unfortunately, there's other folks that want to do a live watch along of that said show that you're supposed to be talking about. And as a result of that, well, what exactly is the incentive to stick around and listen to Lee, even if he's not just talking about that show, but he's also going to be mentioning some headline stuff as well. Like I'm knocked out. Like by the time I come on, like nobody wants to. It's not like I'm coming on late. I'm coming on literally at most 10 minutes after Raw goes off. Mm-hmm. And because everybody has pretty much blown their load on whatever was going on prior, it's like, okay, that pretty much knocks that out. Now we come to Wrestling with the Topics. We're Wrestling with the Topics, even as I speak, there's another show that's on right now. And, to that guy's credit, normally every time he's doing his own thing, like there's no overlapping. And now, the last thing I'm trying to do is be in a position where I'm like fighting for the same 5, 6, 7, 10 people that are around that. No. I've always been very respectful, making sure that we're not stepping on the toes of folks that's, doing a show, because that's just disrespectful. I'm old school like that. Like, if I know for a fact that, okay, normally around this time, somebody's doing their thing, I want to make sure that I'm not, So we've got that whole thing that's going on, okay? And that it's happened a couple of times now, and it's just kind of like, okay, do I really want to continue to keep doing the shows in the Discord? And then that brings me to my other point, which is this. I'm a one-man show over here, unless I got Tams. But even when I have Tams riding shotgun with me on these shows, I'm ultimately the one that has to pay attention to multiple things going on every single time we're live. I'm paying attention to the recorder. I'm paying attention to the length of the shows, because we got to make sure that we're not going into serious overtime. I'm also making sure that as far as connectivity goes, I'm making sure that I'm looking, making sure that, okay, YouTube, all right, we're connected pretty good. Everything's nice and banging on YouTube. All right, yeah, we got Twitch. Okay, that's connected well. Facebook, okay, that's connected well. Then I got to make sure that I'm reading the chat room. Now, luckily, the way that I have everything set up for the major social media platforms, anybody that's commenting, I have it set up in a way where it's all grouped together in one chat, and I got a little icon that lets me know, where that comment is coming from. Sadly, for Discord, there's no way I can integrate Discord into that app so that it can just be part of one overall chat. So I constantly, and just to, I don't know if you've ever been noticing this, Tams, but so like if I want to see what's going on, right? I see where all we're connected to in this tab, and then I can just easily scroll over here and I get my one chat right here. But then for the Discord, I gotta just open it up like that, and then that's pretty much. And so I've pretty much gotten to a point where I'm going, okay, do I really want to continue to keep, and if I were, okay, then which show would I continue to? That's kind of the point where I'm at right now. So I know I kind of gave you a abbreviated version, but now that you've pretty much heard a nice detailed version, and I'm sure some folks will, have some stuff to say in regards to everything that I've laid out. What say you?
In reference to Discord itself, there's not a lot of engagement. There's some,
Yeah.
but not a lot of engagement to where it would warrant being there with all the other things that you have.
Right.
To that point that you're making, I don't know. I don't really think it's worth it.
I don't either. I don't either. I mean, it's just kind of one of those. And like I said, I think, if you were to ask me if there's like one particular thing that I'm noticing that it's just a culmination of all of those things, people, all of those things, and it's kind of sad because, I'm not the only one that pretty much, has been experiencing this as well. There's been other people that's been trying to do a little something, and it's interesting because, to be perfectly honest, if it's not a wrestling soup, some form of a wrestling soup show that's on, I gotta be honest, most folks don't care. And
Well, it's their Discord, so.
exactly, and I totally, I take no, I get it. I get it. But, after a while, it's just, okay, well, if nobody's going to be, because, truth be told, we're really popular on demand and on the downloads, right? Our at our core, because it's our first love. When we first launched this show, all the shows, honestly, it was audio. And so that first love, as far as the loyalty goes, it's still there. As far as the video cast goes, video cast where you can see motherfuckers in the flesh and all that, it was, relatively decent, but same deal, mostly on demand and on the downloads. Or unless it's a pay-per-view night, then people are going to come out in droves and they want to know what's going on pay-per-view wise.
Right.
But the way, I'm going to sleep on it, but the way I'm feeling right now, and look, I got to tip my hat off to Mish, because Mish has been a soldier through it all. That's my boy, and I appreciate the opportunity. I'm going to sleep on it a little bit more, but the way I'm kind of feeling right now, I just feel that, like, after this week, we're just going to be done with Discord altogether. Because it's like...
I mean, unless you guys want to, hit us up and say, hey, that's what we like, that's what we want, make your voices be heard. If that's what you want to have continue to happen, then make your voices heard. If you're good with the downloads and on demand, we're good with that too. But at least we know how you want to access us.
Exactly. Very, very, very fucking important. Right down to the point. I wouldn't even mind entertaining the idea of creating some type of a survey monkey, like a question, like an online questionnaire, and trying to figure out, okay, you guys XYZ speak your piece, kind of do it like that. So that's some food for thought right there. But that's been on my mind. I don't want anybody thinking that this is pretty much just coming out of nowhere. You hear the tone in my voice. I'm very calm. I'm very cool hand Luke right now. This is just something that's been on my mind for a couple of weeks now, right? So sound off, like Tam said, let your voice be heard and all that good stuff. So that to the side, your man's gearing up for the classes next week. I'm very excited about that, especially one class in particular, sociology. And friend that I was talking to, same friend, I consider her a friend, because we're pretty chatty with each other. She used to be a teacher. And so she knows what I've been majoring in. And, I told her about this sociology class, and she goes, wait a minute, what are you majoring in again? And I told her, broadcast media. She goes, oh, yeah, that's right. She's like, sociology? I said, yeah. She's like, I can't help you there. Like, that's interesting. They're making you go in that direction. Like, oh, okay. She's like, you're doing this remote, right? Yeah, I said combination. I said, but yeah, I'm trying my best to keep it remote. I'm not ready to physically be amongst folks yet, for a number of reasons. One, health. I care about my health. I just want to make sure that my immune system isn't compromised in any type of way. Two, there's no better feeling in the world than being able to wake up and start your day off doing your classes, and then, all right, you got a nice little break here. You can go walk your dogs. You can make yourself a bite to eat, or catch up on some reading, some studying, preparing for your next class, and then boom, rinse, repeat, basically, until you're officially done for, right? Nothing beats that feeling, not to mention, okay, I don't have to worry about wasting gas just to drive from here to there, or using public transportation to get from A to B. You can just pretty much, all right, just whoop, let the dogs out, have a quick bite, bagel, whatever, get in front of the computer, do your thing. It's a great feeling. It's funny because some of my coworkers who I've chatted with, I miss the interaction. I miss my friends. I miss hanging out. It's like I hear you. It's like I hear where you're coming from. Like, but man, like, this is so easy. It's like the easiest fucking way to take a class right now. And you're your own boss. The pressure is really on you, right? I mean, I wish these kids, they just don't know. Like, I remember how tough it was for us when we were in school, getting up in the morning.
Ooh.
Okay? Especially when it came to daylight savings, and we had to make sure that we were up a little bit extra early.
Yeah, that hour that was supposed to be there, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
And it was super, super dark out.
Yeah. Heaven forbid you had to walk to school like I had to do on some years, and it was daylight savings, and we gained an hour, and I'm leaving out in pitch fucking blackness, right? I mean, I'm not seeing daylight for like another 90 minutes, basically. Sometimes 2 hours at that. Like, I was not a fan of that shit, right? To be able to just, okay, you can wake up, just roll out your bed, use the bathroom, grab a bagel, have some cereal or something, get in front of your computer, boom, take your classes. It's like, don't get no fucking easier than that, man. Seriously. All right? I mean, I wish, let me tell you something. If I'd have had the way it is now, if I'd have had it back when we were growing up, oh my God, I would have been getting A's left and fucking right. Let me tell you. actually doing the work, not just, winging it and, oh, I don't know this one. Let me go look on. No, no, no. I actually would have been crushing it, because it's like, wow, what great fucking motivation. But then even back then, you got to really stop and think about it. You look at how it was with our internet back then. See, there's a whole lot of things that would have had to work in our favor, right? We would have had to have the internet that we have now back then. The computers.
We didn't have that.
Nah. Yeah.
We didn't have that available to us to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of am 50-50. I definitely see where you're coming from in reference to having everything at your fingertips. You roll out of bed and, yay, I'm ready for school. So, I, too, not so much in most of my high school, but there was a point in time in high school years that I did semi-internship. No, actually it wasn't high school years. It was actually the year after I graduated. And I went and did like a vocational school. And I had to get up, oh my God, probably somewhere between 4:30 and 5 in the morning to walk to catch like a 6 o'clock train, which was the MARC train. It was right not too far from where I lived at that time. Maybe about a 30-minute walk. And it was pitch black, except for there was one section where it was pretty lit, and that was like a professional park. That, you kind of felt more safe. And the area at that time was still okay. But still, it was like, know about this. But agreed. I guess for me, and probably you too, I was definitely more of a loner when I was in school.
Yeah.
I had my couple of friends, Some were more like acquaintances than they were friends. Like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, okay. That was that.
Right.
I might have had one friend, but yeah, I didn't do a lot of socialization when I was in school. I was there to work, there to get my diploma, and get the hell out.
Right. No, I was the same way. The few friends that I did make, some of which were bad influences. This. It would be, hey, wanna play hooky and go to the record store. There's a new Korn album out. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Most times I would play hooky and. You obviously cannot do it today, given everything that went down with Sandy Hook Elementary and all that. But back in the day, when we played hooky, we would go over to the Georgetown campus. We would actually be on the Georgetown grounds. And, we would just be going everywhere. We would play basketball in their courts. We'd throw the pigskin on their field. We would go to their gymnasium. We would go and have food at their food court. But, it was just open fucking nobody. There was no security. There was no nothing. And we would always have a good time. If we weren't doing that, then we would go to the shops at Georgetown. And we would hang out there. I'm surprised to hear in all the years that you and I have been DC residents, I'm very surprised to hear you did not go to the shops at Georgetown because once you were inside that bad boy, we're talking 3 levels of fun. You had the Suncoast that was there. You had a KB Toys, probably the biggest KB Toys other than Pentagon City Mall back in the day. I would put them at number that KB that was at the shops at Georgetown, I would put it at number one when you're just looking at the entire DC, Maryland, Virginia region. That one was number one. I mean, they were huge, right down to the point. At times, there would be special appearances by guests of maybe certain Nickelodeon shows or some cartoon, do like a little meet and greet or whatever. I remember back in the day, you used to have some, I think some wrestlers actually used to do a little something at a KB Toys. I don't know about that one, but I remember back in the day, you had some stuff like that. The food court alone, anybody that was a teenager, right, like, oh, you got to go for the food court. Because, I mean, back in the day, the food court, it was banging. So, like, remember how when we were hanging out with Mission, his brother, if we would have just, from where we went to park, if we would have just kept walking for about 5 seconds, we could have just made a right. And then once we went through those double wooden doors, we would have been inside of the shops at Georgetown. But once you go inside, through that particular entrance, back in the day, that whole entire, it used to go like a fucking rotunda, basically. And there would be so many fucking food courts. It wasn't even funny. You had like about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You had about, that were all active at the same time for many years. You had about at least up to 11, maybe 13 food restaurants. Sbarro was definitely one of them, and this was back when they were actually good. When the quality was actually banging back in the day. I mean, their pasta alone was, their pasta alone was fucking good. You had a couple of kebab places, Chinese restaurants. You want some steak and cheese, or right? Yeah. I mean, the food court alone, though, that was the shit. That was the fucking shit. And it's funny how when we used to play hooky and all that, and we used to go over there, do that. But if I wasn't hanging out with my friends, then yeah, I pretty much was a loner as well. See, I had to be motivated because, and I'm not saying this to sound like a dick, but I was so smart. And so if I felt bored with something, I would just become totally disinterested. My whole thing would be, well, what's my motivation here? Seriously, what is my motivation here? And I would just be, I was known as the class clown. When I would try to be serious and all that, it would throw people off because they were not, it was really hard for them to take me serious, because I had spent so much time being that, yeah. When I would try to show that, hey, I am smart,
as Harrison Ford would say, I've got skills.
Yeah, don't let the, that's just a front. Like, you actually take the time to get to know me. It's like, no, he's actually a smart person. He easily gets unmotivated, right? That was my whole thing, and so as a result of that, yeah, all I wanted to do was just, fuck this, I'm not motivated. Let me go play some music, or let me go. I just want to go hang outside, right? So. But shit, if I had the remote classes like I have now back then, oh my God, just give me everything that's happening right now, just, back then.
No, actually, I know what would have happened. You'd had a game controller in one hand and a computer on the other.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I definitely was into my video games. Yeah, I ain't gonna even front. I definitely would have done it. Or a comic book in one hand and, the class in the other one.
biology book and a comic in the middle.
Yeah.
Hey, what's the answer to that?
Right. Say, could you repeat the question, please? You know, like, could you repeat the question, please? I don't know. Let me get back to you on that one. You know? Yeah.
Well, you see.
Yeah.
But kind of piggybacking on the shops at Georgetown. If I did, it was a very, very brief, maybe one off. Honestly, at that time, we kind of lived a little bit north of DC. So for me, it was actually a little bit more of a trip that I would take to the local mall near me. Mm-hmm. So going to the shops at Georgetown wasn't really like, that was out of my way. So that, you know, grant you, I spent a lot of time at the mall. I did. But it wasn't the closest one to me.
Interesting.
And that's the one you're talking about with the Wonder Woman, 1984.
I swear the one with Wonder Woman 1984, I think they did that if they didn't do that at the Fair Oaks Mall, they did that at some mall in Virginia. They did not do that at the,
okay.
As far as I know, they did not do Wonder Woman 1984 at the shops in Georgetown.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Matter of fact, keep talking, and I can confirm that for you real quick. It's funny that you had mentioned that too, by the way, because that's a good segue to our next topic. But buy me a couple of seconds.
Yeah. So, you know, that just wasn't near me. So I pretty much went to what was near me. Georgetown was something I really, honest to goodness, like I passed by it. Versus actually, hey, I went here, and here, and here.
That would have been recorded or filmed, I should say, at the now shuttered Landmark Mall in Alexandria, Virginia.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where that was.
I think I went to the Landmark Mall once. Like once.
I would have to actually see how.
Because I remember going in there and going, oh, that's an interesting name, because that's actually the name of the company my dad used to work for. So.
I went here once.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, I went there once. It was cool. Yeah, I remember saying, wow, this is pretty cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good segue, because speaking of superheroes, so you and I both had a chance to watch the series premiere, episode 1 of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. And I'll chime in on it, but get the ball rolling. What did you think about the series? What did you think about, or rather I should say, what did you think about the series premiere?
I will say it was like, wait a minute, what? But I do like Mark Ruffalo. I do, as Hulk. Or even as an actor. I think he's good. Whether it's Hulk or
Did you ever see him in Zodiac? That would have been him, Robert Downey Jr., Jake Gyllenhaal.
Can't say I have.
So it was actually a pretty good movie. Go ahead.
Anyway, in reference to that, so I do actually. She grew on me. Victoria Chow. What's her name?
Are you talking about the director?
No, the person who plays She-Hulk.
Oh, the person who played She-Hulk, that was portrayed by Tatiana Maslany.
Oh, my goodness. Boy, I was really off on that one. Okay. So, Tatiana, I will say she had to grow on me. But I really ended up liking the character she was portraying. I liked the back and forth banter and the storyline. The back and forth banter between her and Mark Ruffalo, because of the storyline that they are trying to portray. So for me,
It's
it was,
okay to put spoilers out there if you want. It's okay.
yeah. So basically, it starts off by, this normal woman who's a lawyer. Okay. You know, interesting. And then it's like, okay, well, actually, if you want to know, because, I know you just heard the word Hulk. So let me just give you the backstory. And they proceeded to do that. It was very interesting in how they mapped it out, laid it out, really prepared you for the story. Probably one of the better preparations that I've seen. And, for someone who knew nothing about She-Hulk, I watched Hulk when I was a kid, but I never knew anything about She-Hulk.
Not even the not even the animated
Nope.
Hulk series with
Nope.
with Luke Perry, Lou Ferrigno. Yeah, there was an animated Hulk
Nope.
series in the 90s. It ran, I think, 2 or 3 seasons. I think by the 3rd season or the first half of the second or whatever, they had introduced She-Hulk. Wow.
No, I was a strictly Lou Ferrigno, mid 80s Hulk.
Okay.
That in anything more or outside of that, have no idea.
Okay.
So, just in the general, hey, okay, well this new remake is coming out. But back to that portion of it, they did a great job in setting the story, and making you like her or making you understand her. I was pleasantly surprised that they just kind of made her more voluptuous versus big.
Oh yeah, they got that shit down. Because when you think about She-Hulk, in the comics, she was a sexy ass green woman. She was very flirtatious too when she was She-Hulk. Yeah, versus when she was just regular old Jessica,
Right.
what was it, Waters? She was just, or Jennifer Waters. She was just, just bland. It was kind of like, as She-Hulk, okay, here's her real personality amped up times 10, basically. Yeah. Yeah, very, very fucking voluptuous. Well, now, let me ask you, what did you make of the CGI? Because that's something I want to put you on the spot for. Because reason I'm asking you this, I remember when there was the first couple of still shots that came out of She-Hulk. I was watching social media, just cracking jokes left and right. They weren't feeling the CGI. They thought it was some fucking shit. Everybody was like, man, look at how they did Hulk. Like, nah, man. Like, every time we see Hulk in these movies, like, nah, man, it needs to be on this kind of level. What the fuck are these guys doing? And I remember the director, executive producer, one of the writers for She-Hulk, Jessica Gao, she stepped up. Even Tatiana had said a little something. They both basically were saying, look, you guys got to understand, from the moment that the series had went into production, and then the deadline that we were given to pretty much have this ready to go, our team had to work tirelessly, diligently to meet deadlines, and we hear where you guys are coming from and everything. Like, we're not trying to make excuses, but in their defense, this is what's going on, and we got to say that under the circumstances, we're actually pretty proud of what our team was able to do. So there's your full context, but what say you about the CGI, or if you want to just look at the graphics overall, go for it.
At times, they didn't seem real enough. The other portion of it is you're seeing more Bruce Banner?
Or do you mean Hulk?
No. Bruce, the alter personality. Bruce.
I know Bruce Banner, but I'm trying to understand.
So basically,
Because I remember when we first saw Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner.
yeah, that's so basically
That wasn't CGI.
No,
Yeah.
I know.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to say is at times the CGI gave you more of a Bruce Banner feel versus Hulk.
Elaborate a little more, because I'm a little lost on that one.
So for me, let me just say that. For me, I'm used to, don't get me wrong, it looked like, I'm sorry. For me, it looked like Bruce Banner with a semi-medium sized head, but maybe a little bigger. Green.
I see what you're saying. That's how you were throwing me off. Okay.
So basically for me, that's how I felt about it versus, hey, this is character. You know, it just, he looks so much like, even in some of the motion pictures, they made him look way more like Hulk than the She-Hulk series. Just in my own personal opinion.
Okay.
So basically tying it back into the CGI, it felt kind of weak, but because of COVID and some of the other restrictions, it worked. It worked. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much attention was I really paying to that? I don't know. A 4. So it was like, yeah, okay, yeah, I know that's not real. But especially when they were picking up the rocks. That was a little like, okay, this is semi-comical.
Yeah.
But for me, normally, it didn't bother me that much, to be honest with you.
Okay. For me, I definitely appreciated the way the story was laid out in that first episode. I like the pacing of it. I like that they had Tatiana breaking the fourth wall and pretty much acknowledging the viewers, because we haven't seen something like that really since Deadpool. So to have it kind of like, you got to think Deadpool and then Kevin Spacey when he was on House of Cards, you know, he would break that fourth wall as well, and he'd be, you know, talking some mad shit or whatever. I always like it when you have yourself a really good movie or a TV show where that fourth wall gets broken, you know, and it's not just in a way where the motherfucker just looks directly into the camera and just, you know, like I like how everything is basically, you know, this is how we're setting it up, you know, this is how we're doing it in such a really cool way that it just feels natural. It doesn't feel forced that we have this person breaking the fourth wall here. So I liked how they did that. And Jessica Gao, I got to give her a lot of props because I thought her name had sounded familiar. And it probably does sound familiar to some of you guys, but you may be familiar with some of her work as a writer from Ricky and Morty. She also did Silicon Valley, Mighty B, Kung Fu Panda, Legends of Awesomeness. She also did a couple of episodes of Robot Chicken, one of my personal fucking favorite series of all time. So I knew her name sounded familiar. I just couldn't quite put my finger on where, because I just remember I've read that, I've seen that name so many times. So they tapped into the right person to go about not only writing but being one of the producers and all that. They got the right person to pretty much shape this up and everything. And you know, for me, my biggest takeaway, not so much the She-Hulk character, because, you know, I grew up on She-Hulk back when I was a fucking kid. I could remember grabbing a couple of She-Hulk comics here and there and going, okay, yeah, I like her, but not enough to want to check out her own monthly series right? I was more interested in She-Hulk when she would be a guest star in somebody else's comic book series. For me, I didn't feel she was strong enough to really be handling her own series. And that's not a sexist comment, or it's just, just back then, because we're talking about the 80s after all. There's just some characters you just go, no, you're cool, but not as your own, not on your own. Nah. And just to show you that I'm not sexist, I can remember religiously the very first Catwoman series that had came about back in the heyday. I was big into Catwoman, and I had religiously collected like every single Catwoman that was out there. I was a big fan of Wonder Woman as well before it was cool for a guy to say, "Oh, I collect the Wonder Woman series," right? I was already ahead of the curve in a lot of fucking areas when it came to the female superheroes and all that. But back then, I just She-Hulk, no. So I already had that familiarity with She-Hulk. Is my whole point, right down to the point to my argument. I have recently been reading the new She-Hulk series that launched some months back. I think now they're on issue 5, if I'm not mistaken. It's either 5 or 5 going on 6 right now. Check it out. And like literally what you're reading of that series compliments the hell out of what you saw from this first episode. So I felt okay, as far as kind of comparing it to the source materials. Like, okay, you guys are, you can't please everybody because you got a lot of comic book collectors out there. They'll be very quick. Oh man, they're not staying true to the source material, and it burns a hole in their fucking genes that motherfuckers aren't staying very true to the source material. But no, I thought what they did with that first episode, I thought they hit all the checkpoints. My biggest takeaway though was telling the story of what's been going on with Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. That for me was just because I have found that to be the most fascinating, because I legit wanted to know, what's been going on with Hulk? How is he coping with the passing of Tony Stark? Now that the whole Thanos is over and done with, what's going on with him? What's life like for him these days and everything? So I found that journey to be, and then and then at the same time, there's enough there that makes me go, okay, so, I want more. I want more of what's going on with Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. And I just hope that at some point Universal Pictures, they can just get off their ass and they can work out some type of a deal with Marvel Studios where, maybe they can spearhead a Hulk movie, because Ruffalo has said he's down for it, but he's also said at the same time he'll be the first one to be perfectly honest with you and say, look, they got enough data from the last couple of Hulk films, it didn't really make enough revenue. What's the whole, it's like, okay, I see that point, but what about a Hulk series? Surely you can get away with a Hulk series, right? So there's enough there where, you kind of, the way I look at that episode, I also looked at it as, given everything that went down with Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, there's enough seeds that was planted here for a back pilot episode to a series for him. So, I think that if the numbers for that is, continues to remain strong, and, assuming we haven't seen the last of him, that, if the numbers are good, then you have enough there where, okay, well, maybe that'll make Universal say, okay, you know what, maybe we should look into, let's get Marvel Studios help on this, and let's see how we can go about bridging the gap and everything. But yeah, that was definitely my biggest takeaway. I love how, I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna sound confusing, but I think for those of us that watched the first episode, you know exactly what I mean by it. I like how easily women can get into it, but it's not exactly a show for women. If that kind of right, if that makes sense to you guys, right? So I really like the way that they had did that. They beautifully captured the chemistry between She-Hulk and Hulk. I hate saying that, but Bruce and Jessica. Yeah, Jennifer.
Oh, Jennifer.
I love how they captured that, because in the comics, everything I remember from the comics, even the animated series, there was this friendly little back and forth banter that would come about them. So they had captured that pretty good and everything. And you know what? I love that we've got these 38, 35-minute episodes. I'm down with that. I'm fucking down with that. Yeah. So the way this is looking right now, we're getting 9 episodes. And these 9 episodes are going to take us up through October 13th. And the She-Hulk series is the last TV series of the Phase 4 of the MCU. So, but yeah, Tatiana Maslany, fantastic as She-Hulk. I know some people are going to be on the fence and they're going to be like, oh, well, the CGI, they could have easily gotten a real actress. And I agree. You're not going to get any argument from me. They could have easily, right down to the point, somebody who I've had a lot of respect for years now. I happen to be a big fan of her work. I follow some of her cosplay stuff. But April Hunter, used to be a wrestler full time, and then she started, dipping into the cosplay and everything. She still is in phenomenal shape. She's well in her 40s. I think she's just now tapping into her late 40s, but she still has an amazing build. She could have easily just put on the right amount of makeup to the point. I remember maybe it was last year, but she actually had showed some image of her dressed up as She-Hulk. And you were like, damn, so, but I agree with those of you, like, man, we couldn't get a real actress. They're telling me there's no muscular looking woman out there that could have easily, and I say, yeah, I hear you, but you know what, with what was going on there with the CGI, we're talking about 9 episodes, and this had originally began filming sometime around mid-April of last year, and it lasted until August, right? So just imagine what was going on during that period there, right? We're talking about the pandemic still. Things weren't quite, we were still, in a few areas and everything. I think for what it's worth, I thought they did pretty good. I thought they did pretty good. Honestly, if they decide to go with a second season for this respected series, I can see the budget being upped. As long as the numbers can continue to remain strong, I can definitely see the budget being much kinder, and they'll be able to do a lot more, quite honestly. So, speaking of series, congrats to Neil Gaiman on his Netflix Sandman series. I've yet to watch that. I've been hearing a lot of praise about that series, though. They're waiting to hear whether or not they're going to get the pickup for a second season. But check this out. The hours viewed for Sandman season 1, 77,240,000.
Wow.
and that has it clocked in. Let's see, weeks in the top 10. This is his third appearance, being in the top 10. So that's fantastic to hear, and that's just for the week of August 15th through the 21st.
I would say they don't have a whole lot to worry about.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I would be shocked to hear if they didn't get picked up. I would be very shocked with numbers like that. I'd be very shocked to hear if they didn't get picked up. So the She-Hulk series, check it out. Definitely gets our seal of approval. And I'm with you when it comes to the CGI. I mean, I definitely was a little bit upset. But not to the point where, I mean, there were just people that were just lamb blasting. It was just a fucking roast all fucking day on the CGI. I'm going, look, man, the CGI can look however it looks, as long as the story, the acting, as long as all that is on point, man, nothing else even fucking matters. And then let's not also forget, a lot of people tend to forget this. Don't care for it maybe, but when it comes to a new series that's launched, the budget is always stingy. The budget for that first season is always stingy. It's like, okay, we want to commit to 24 episodes, but we're not really sure about, I mean, it sounds good, your cast and all that all sounds good, but we're really not sure. So we're gonna order 12, 13 episodes. We're gonna see what's going on, and we'll do the full court press. We'll blitz you out, we'll blast you, we'll promote you and all that, right? And usually that show's fate will be sealed by the 8th episode. And if the numbers are strong, then it's like, okay, well, you know what? We want a full 24. Get your ass back out there. Give us a full 24, or give us these 13, and we'll see you next season. You'll get a full 24 episodes, right? And then we'll also increase your budget too. So that's always been the fucking case. Now, I did check out and I watched it all in its entirety, pretty much in one sitting this past weekend. I did check out the Miss Marvel series, Kamala Khan. I did watch that. Woo! Gotta say. Where do I begin with that series? Okay. Those of you who have watched Black Lightning or Luke Cage, if you remember those shows and you watched them, I kind of looked at Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan as a series for the Arabs, the Indians, the Muslims. I looked at that series as, here's your superhero, right? Now, that's not a bad thing, okay? That's not a bad thing. I also looked at the series as, hey, for you little kids out there, as if Thor, Love and Thunder, wasn't enough, right? All those nice, good kiddie feel moments. Here you go. Here's another one for you guys. Dare to dream of being a superhero, right? I just looked at that series and I just said, I'll be honest with you guys. I did so much fucking fast forwarding. It was not even funny. Now, I did find Kamala Khan's relationship with her mom. I did find that interesting, and I think a lot of women, young girls, will definitely find the aspects of that relationship. They'll find themselves latching on to that because the mother's trying to understand what's going on with Kamala, because to her, Kamala is coming off a little bit defiant in a few areas, and she just doesn't want to see her lose herself along the way. It's interesting watching this family, because you've heard the stories time and time again where for a Muslim family or Arab family, an Indian family, where the parents are so fucking strict on hey, you can't dress this way. You gotta you can't hang out with that boy. He's not one of us, right? Well, you've already been promised to somebody else, so you can't. I'm reminded of that episode of Deadly Women, where remember the Arab mother and father teamed up and killed their daughters because they felt that their daughters were becoming too westernized in America. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. But so I thought it was kind of interesting, seeing how this family, basically was adapting to being America and all that. Those aspects were kind of cool, but besides that, I did so much fast forwarding that it was like, okay, my attention span would just be, okay, next, okay, next, okay, next. I just kept doing it like that. And yeah, so, for that series, I can't really recommend that series to you guys. I mean, not unless you are a Marvel fanatic and you just inhale. That, for me, has got to be the weakest series out of all the Marvel shows that has ever come out thus far. That, for me, is the weakest series. The only thing that I had liked about Miss Marvel was how they tied her in to the next Captain Marvel movie. That was the only thing I had liked.
Well, that makes sense due to the fact that that's coming out shortly.
There's something else that's kind of interesting, just so you guys don't kind of feel like I'm shitting all over, because I would imagine there's some Kamala Khan fans out there. For anybody that has played the Avengers game that was by Square Enix, everybody is in agreement that as far as the storyline goes for that game, the storyline is fucking on point. I loved everything about how they introduced Kamala Khan. I still hold that in very high regard. I like that more than what we got of this Disney series. No. Marinate on that now. I like the storyline for Kamala Khan in the Avengers game more than this series that we just got. So that should tell you guys a little something, right? But yeah, go at that series at your own respected accord on that one. All right, some other stuff that we can get into before we get ready to wrap it up. Not too many more topics to get into. And this is so funny. So Better Call Saul ends. She-Hulk begins in the same week. Now there's rumblings. Take it with a grain of salt, but there's rumblings that there could be a Ally McBeal revival. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I think it could be interesting. I guess they're trying to capitalize off of the success of it.
So yay or nay?
Nay.
I say leave the past alone.
Yeah.
All right, I mean, first of all, what network is going to pick this up? Second of all, just from kind of what I was hearing, apparently Ally McBeal's daughter would be the focal point. So then, well, if that's the case, then is this series really Ally McBeal, or is it
not if it's going to be not
right?
Yeah, that doesn't even make sense.
Right.
So if you're going to have Ally McBeal's daughter be the focal point, still call it Ally McBeal, and you're not focusing on her, that's kind of pointless.
I mean, unless what you're trying to say is, it's Ally McBeal, but the daughter is working for maybe Ally McBeal's practice?
You could, but that is a stretch.
I don't know. I'm like very fucking And Costella Flockhart, she's now 57.
You mean Callista?
Callista, sorry about that. Yeah, Callista Flockhart, she's now 57. She's going to be 58 this November. I don't know.
I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah. I I heard that and I just was like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I'm trying really hard to picture. I don't see it. I just don't see that. Some things should just be left in the past.
Yeah.
That's one of them.
Yeah. It was good for what it was when it was.
Yeah.
But because sometimes when you try to force a reboot on something that really isn't developed, it usually ends up flopping.
The only way I would be interested in a Ally McBeal sequel, reboot, whatever the fuck you want to call it, give me the original cast, and that also includes coming back full circle. Give me Robert Downey Jr. Give me Bon Jovi.
Right.
That's the only way I could see it. Like, okay, it's got a fighting chance.
But it don't even make it a series. Make it a one-off.
So what? A one shot season?
No, a one-shot, 2 hours.
Oh, to see if a pilot. Okay, so that could serve as a, like with Nash Bridges.
Yeah.
The Nash Bridges movie that came out earlier this year.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I would say do that. I don't know if you could get a hold of Robert Downey, but you know, anything could happen. You know, but yeah, I like your idea more. A reboot. Yeah, do a movie that could serve as a backdoor pilot for a potential new series based off those numbers. It's safe to say, too, by the way, speaking of Nash Bridges, it's safe to say it ain't happening.
No, we haven't heard a hide, a hair, or nothing ever since. I mean, not even a peep.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you really stop and think about it.
It was good for the nostalgia tour.
Yeah, you know.
But
do you really want to watch for like 5 seasons?
No.
Damn, Bubba, my hemorrhoids, you know. Damn, Bubba, can't catch that damn criminal. Getting up there in age, gotta have my knees replaced, you know.
True.
Damn, Bubba. Oh, before we go out on this chase, let me go get me some Pepto-Bismol and some magnesia, you know.
Boy, that's a contradiction.
Damn, Bubba. Oh man. Oh, getting too old. Oh, wait a minute. I think I need to hit my life alert. I think I need help, you know?
Yeah, that's just not a good look for Nash Bridges, who's supposed to be chasing bad guys.
Shit.
You know.
Oh, shit. You know, the number one question I kept being asked when it came to that Nash Bridges movie, did Stone Cold appear? Because Stone Cold, he was a bounty hunter that appeared a couple of times during the actual series. I'm like, nah, there was no Stone Cold. Like, oh man, if Stone Cold would have, man, that shit would have been good. Like, yeah, if Stone Cold would have, because he still looks the same. He's just bulkier, but he fucking still looks the same. So that would have been interesting. All right, so that's that. Now, what? Read that nice comment that had came to us from one listener last week. We don't need to.
In the other room.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, that one person that had commented, know who they are. We had got like one of the nicest compliments for the show from last week. I wish I could remember the person's name, but it escapes me right now. But they had talked about how they like checking out this particular series, and that they don't always agree with some of the points that we make when it comes to wrestling. And I'm thinking to myself, damn, well, you know, first of all, it's extremely rare that we even talk wrestling.
No, he was just generalizing.
Oh, generalizing it. Okay.
It didn't have to be about wrestling.
Okay.
It was basically generalizing the fact that, you know, he he wasn't always agreeing with our points that we would make, but he enjoys hearing our point of view.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay, yeah, I had liked hearing that. I like that. It had made my day, especially hearing the well wishes, returning to the classes and all that good stuff. That was good. All right, let's go out on a strong note. All right, we gotta go serious here. All right. So did you check out the link?
No.
Oh, I'm very disappointed.
I'm sorry.
I'm very disappointed. Okay. All right. So we're going to unfortunately have to get Tammy's reactions to this in real time then. All right. But full context, very important. Full context is everything. Okay. Now, let's set this up
Oh my.
properly for you guys. By now, some of you all may be aware of this. Then again, some of you all may not be aware of this. But coming from out of the weekend, there is a graphic Arkansas State Police at their finest. I'm using that sarcastically. Police officers, 3 officers. Looks like this was going down potentially at a Walmart. It looks like.
Oh Lord.
Broad daylight, beating the holy shit out of what appears to be a white guy or whatever. And I'm actually going to play this video for you. I'm going to pause it right here, and I'm going to blow it up for you. And those of you that maybe want to, want to watch this, if you got social media, just type in Arkansas Police, and you'll be able to see this. It's about 34 seconds long. Shout out to the person that had shot this on their phone. Obviously, from their vantage point, it would appear that they are that they're riding the back passenger seat there. It looks like back passenger seat. They definitely are not in the driver's seat. And broad daylight, you see 3 cops, and they are just laying it on this brother. So let me let this go here, and I'll do a little play-by-play here. And as you can see, we got one officer look at that. Let's rewind that. I mean, he is going UFC on that brother. Let's just go back one more time. He's going full fist. He's going elbow. All right. I mean, he is just, he is just gone. And you got my brother right here. He's going Robert Downey Jr. with the knees to the abdominal there, while the third guy is just holding him down.
Yeah.
Now look at that. Look, oh, you missed it. He slammed my man's head on the concrete. Here you go. Look at that. Here you go. He's hitting him in the fucking face again there. Right? Now the third guy intervenes. He punches dude in the stomach there. Now he's got his knee to his back. They realize they're being taped. Yeah, don't get in trouble. Yeah, they pointing and everything. So, yeah. So we had that shit that went down. Now, in a update in regards to this horrific, disgusting thing that had went down, I do believe in full context. Full context is everything. What all led up to this individual to be assaulted by the police the way that that he was assaulted by those officers. I'm not justifying what the cops had did. For the record, I think what the cops had did was downright fucking disgusting. Now, this video, which was a TikTok video that somehow ended up being posted on Twitter there, right? Showing the 3 cops in Arkansas, they were suspended. They were suspended after the video emerged, showing them beating the living shit out of their detainee. As that video had showed at one point, one officer was punching the man in the head, lifts his head up from the ground, slams it back down the cement sidewalk as the man tries to protect his head with his hands. The video shows that clear as fucking day. Okay? Arkansas State Police, they're investigating the arrests. Arkansas Governor Asha Hutchinson said, I have spoken with Colonel Bill Bryant of the Arkansas State Police, and the local arrest incident in Crawford County will be investigated pursuant to the video evidence and the request of the prosecuting attorney, Hutchinson said. Two of the officers are deputies with the Crawford County Sheriff's Office, and the third is an officer with the Mulberry Police Department. The Sheriff's Office had requested the state police to investigate. So, yeah, and then in regards to the suspect that was beaten, as far as what led up to, what's going on here? The man in question, named Randall Worcester of South Carolina, allegedly spat. Yeah, you heard me right. I said spit, at a worker, and threatened to cut off their face.
For what, recording?
No, I'm talking about the detainee, the victim.
Oh.
Randall Worcester, South Carolina, allegedly spat at a worker and threatened to cut off their face.
Lord have mercy.
The officers caught up to Worcester, age 27, who fled on a bike, and began a calm and civil conversation with him when he allegedly began to attack one of the deputies, pushing him to the ground. The sheriff told THV 11. The alleged attack led officers to restrain Worcester and apparently beat him, as shown in the video. So again, this is all about full context, right? It's all about full context. So, I would like to see if, in fact, he did attack one of these officers. I would love to see this footage of him attacking one of the officers. Now, let me just stress this. If, in fact, he attacked one of the officers and it led to these officers, oh, no, you're not doing that. And then they became very aggressive with him and, right? I would like to believe that after you have detained my man, you got him down on the ground, unless leading up to this person pulling out their phone and beginning to record, unless this person was resisting arrest. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. What we're seeing right here does not look good.
No, and nor does it look like he was resisting arrest.
Exactly. And what's most unfortunate about this, I hope now that we have footage like this that's running around, I hope that people can now truly understand why men like Colin Kaepernick took a knee. Mm-hmm. Okay? This ain't no brown. It's not a brown thing. It's not a black thing. Nope. It's not, pro-police, it's about right and wrong.
Yeah. The only thing is, no matter how long is in reference to time, no matter how much somebody does or doesn't understand, there's always going to be one person who thinks it's about something else, or it's about the opposite thing of what you think it's about. Mm-hmm. I mean, even still to this day, I get, anytime that name comes up, there's some snide comment about that piece of trash or da-da-da-da. And it's like, really? This was how many years ago? Really, his stance ruined his career. Yeah, it did. It ruined his career.
Yeah.
And, obviously he's able to, do a little here, a little there, to be able to make ends meet and live life. And, good for him for taking a stance in what he believed in, no matter what the consequences were.
Right. But
getting back to full circle in reference to, that scene that we just watched, that looked like excessive force to me.
I'm not denying that.
That looked like excessive force. That looked like way too much. That looked like you asshole, you got on my damn nerves and I'm going to fuck you up.
Full context is everything. I would love to see.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, I keep telling you guys, full context, right?
Yeah,
because
you don't know.
Right, it's easy to allow yourself that first reaction to take hold of you when you see something like that, right? It is definitely disturbing. Don't get it wrong, folks. It's definitely disturbing. You know, you're looking at that and you're going, okay, man, like the best thing that you really should be doing in a situation like that, you know, complying with the officers, whatever they're asking you to do, show identification, you know, empty out your pockets, you know, the moment that you are starting to show some type of resistance, let alone allegedly you are swinging at one of these officers, then all fucking bets are
And the
off.
gloves are off, too.
Right. All fucking bets are off. Okay? I do find that footage to be very disturbing, but I still want full context. Any other footage that's out there, and I would like to believe that there's additional footage that's out there.
Oh, I would bet it.
You know, I'm definitely homing in on store footage. I would like to believe that there is. That's a Walmart now. Right, Walmart usually has some pretty good surveillance for the most part. Okay,
And it was broad daylight.
and it's
yeah.
broad daylight, so I definitely want to see like everything that is leading up to. But I can't even saying to you guys, full context is everything. Even I can't say, oh well, you know, these officers were in the right. You're not gonna find me saying that. I'm going to be saying to you, that's disturbing on so many levels because you've already got the guy on the ground. The man would not have to be covering his head and his face if you weren't fucking going MMA on his ass.
And knocking his head into the ground.
And knocking his head into the ground. You wouldn't have to be doing all that stupid shit, right? So that does not look good. But I hate to burst the bubble. But this is real talk. I hate to say this, and it's going to sound real fucked up, but folks, you find that disturbing, right? Well, welcome to the real world. That's what's been happening to individuals, black, brown, yellow, red. That's what's been happening to individuals for decades now. For decades. Y'all just didn't know about it because the technology that we have now didn't exist back then when the motherfuckers were getting it to them by the police, like you saw in that fucking video. For every incident that involves that guy, what's his name again? What was his name again? Hang on, let me pull up his name. Let me pull up his name again here. What's this kid's name? I just said his name. Where's his name? Let me scroll down. I just had his name. Randall Worcester. For every Randall Worcester that's out there, there has, for years upon years upon years, there has been a Randall Worcester that has gotten their ass handed to them by the police, like that video footage that you saw. The only difference is, for those other ones in the previous years, in the previous decades, there was no type of footage like there is right now. Believe that. Fucking believe that. I've already shared some of, my experiences with the cops off and on over the years, and some of the experiences that I had in dealing with them, me and my friends, simply because of the color of our skin. And I wish I could be here on this show and say to you guys, oh, well, the times where me and my friends were harassed by the police, it was a white cop. No, we would actually have black on black. Believe it or not, we would have black on black cops. Black cops fucking with black people. Okay? walking around. I guess like they're Herschel Walker or some shit. Like they ain't. I guess they're saying they ain't black. They're, I don't know, multicolored or whatever the fuck they go, right? But you know, I hate to say that to you guys, but that's the fucking truth. You know, welcome to the what? We're now in the 21st century now, aren't we? Mm-hmm. Yeah, welcome to the 21st century where we got all these nice little gadgets that's running around, and motherfuckers got drones, and you know, you see some weird shit that's about to go down. Look, this is the day and age that we're in right now. If you see a fucking look, 2 weeks ago, I was on my way to work. I go to the train station, right? And, you know, I get off the bus. I'm at the train station. I'm trying to go catch my fucking joint and everything. Tell me why, for a black homeless guy, not one squad car, not two squad cars, not three squad cars, not four squad cars, not five squad cars, not six squad cars, not seven squad cars, not eight squad cars, 9 fucking squad cars for one black homeless guy. Black homeless guy was chilling at the fucking bus depot, and he's mad. He's like, I don't know why somebody had called all these cops. Like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I simply had asked if somebody could call the police because my friend was over there. I think he was dehydrated and needed some help. And I don't know why somebody had called the cops. I'm not doing anything wrong. Why the fuck are you guys? Yeah.
They acted like they was fighting Al Qaeda.
Exactly. 9 fucking squad cars that act as though there was some type of a bomb threat situation. The way that they blocked off the entrance for the buses to go through. They, you know, all that was cut off. You know, and we've got all these conveniently white cops. All right, now how does that look for optics? Every single one of these police officers were white. And they're in on this poor little skinny looking older black guy. Man, there were so many of us that had our fucking phones out, and we were I had my phone out too. I was recording that bitch. I'm like, just in case some shit was about to go down, I'm like, I'm putting this shit out. You know, I'm not looking to go viral. I'm just going to share. I already know my contacts as far as news media outlets go. I'm like, I'm ready to share this with them as soon as the shit goes down. Right? I'm ready. I already had somebody like direct message, you know, news reporter. I already had a couple of motherfuckers ready to go. So like, hey, check this out. Fucking check this shit out. Right? Some of the cops, they knew, okay, I got a funny feeling about this. Some of the cops, after about a few minutes, they said, fuck this. They hopped in their little joint. They rolled the fuck off. Right? This is the current climate that we're in right now, man, here in the U.S. And it's very fucking unfortunate, man. It's very fucking unfortunate. You know, you're the wrong fucking color in some areas, you know, but you know, here in this case, you see that this individual that had got beaten up, you know, wasn't a brother. You know, it just goes to show you what I've been saying all this time. It's unfortunate that it's a black and brown thing with the cops, but it goes back to the point that I've been saying. Right. It goes back to the point I've been saying all these years, and I've been very consistent about it. You've got corrupt individuals behind a badge of power. That's what it's all about. You know, and it's unfortunate. I really hope. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Depending on the severity of the damages that was done to this guy, he may have enough with the right lawyer.
Oh, with a civil suit.
Oh, fuck yes. The cops. Fuck yes.
Especially if he's got medical issues now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Head slammed into the concrete a couple of times there. Them strikes to the back of the head.
Exactly.
You can't tell me he's going to be walking away from that totally 100% on point. He's going to, and as whoever his lawyer is, civil suit, and they should, they're going to reach some type of settlement. Dude about to get fucking paid. Tell you that right now. Those 3 officers, You want to make a prediction? I don't see them continuing to serve on the force. Do you?
Woof. That. I don't think so.
I don't see that.
I don't see. Well, if they were to serve on the force, they probably are pushing papers.
I don't even see that. I don't even see that. I'm going to make a bold prediction, and I'm going to say they're out of jobs, and civil suit, they will lose.
Mm-hmm.
They will lose. Because think about all those dominoes that's about to go down. So you got the officers, right? Mm-hmm. Then you got the county, the district, right? I mean, that whole multi-layer of a class action lawsuit that you're about to have on your hands there. Forget about it. Forget about it. Yeah. Morally, yeah. 6 figures, if not more. 6 figures, if not more. They dude about to get a payday. Dude about to get a payday. I mean, look at that shit. I just want. I mean, it's 34 seconds. I just want to watch this one more time. Look at that shit. He's covering up his fucking off the break within the first few seconds. He's trying to cover up his fucking head, and they are just going to fucking town on this dude. If there was ever an episode of Sanford and Son where you could say Whiplash and a whole bunch of other shit, yo, that's the time to do it. That's the fucking time to do it. But yeah, we're gonna continue to watch that one. Let's see. Other than that,
only way that's going to even remotely be in their favor is if somebody has some other video of that guy acting like a complete fool.
Yeah, I mean,
right before that.
Yeah, right before that. That's why I say full context. Unless, to your point, unless there is some footage where he is spitting at the officers and or taking a swing at the officers that even warrants that type of behavior coming from the officers. Maybe he successfully is able to free himself and he's continuing to swing at the officers. And then you've got the adrenaline coming in and the officers are now, okay, now, we're just trying to make sure that we're doing what we need to do to subdue this motherfucker. Right? But then even at that, it's, okay, well, you're still kind of pushing excessive force.
Oh, yeah. You're not kinda. You are.
You know what I'm saying? No, but I'm saying, like, if you have footage that shows he was being a dick to the officers physically, that, if you could somehow justify why the officers were acting the way they were physically with him, but then even if you're able to justify it, you can still look at that footage, at least those 34 seconds, out of what could potentially be 2 minutes or 3 minutes. You could look at those 34 seconds alone and say, that's a bit excessive, my man.
And it's all excessive.
Right. So, to be continued. Programming note. Next show, Wednesday night, August 24th, 2022. After AEW Dynamite goes off the air, we're streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. I got to put out Monday night show. So for those of you that's looking for Monday night show, I haven't even mixed down the audio and all that yet. I'm actually going to mix it right now, and it should be uploaded within the next hour or so for your downloading, listening pleasure. So check that out. And until then, be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. We did pretty good. Hour, 40 minutes in the books. I like that. She's the beautiful and the lovely Tammy. Lee Sanders here. We're both wishing for all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. And we will see you guys next go round. Adios, y'all, and take care.
Bye.